Just hold it as it.
So very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm Mariappan. So working as associate professor in mathematics, Visual College, Dr.P. So my topic is a study on performance efficiency of nationalized banks of India, ADA approach. So I want to give the brief outline overall case that what we did. So we want to study how the Nationalized Bank of India is functioning. That we have three sets of banking sectors in India. One such case is nationalized banking. We have 19 banks. Then we collected data for the year 2007 to 2012, and recently we completed 2013 also. Right? So we have used data environment analysis to study the performance measure of the banking sectors. So as a DEA, it's a methodology based upon an interesting application of LPP. So DEA is nothing but what? Application of operational research model. One such model referred to be a fractional programming turns to be a linear programming. It was originally developed for performance measurements. So when you want to measure performance of anything for comparison purpose, right, we can make use of this analysis. It has been successfully employed for assessing the relative performance of a set of firms that use a variety of identical inputs to produce a variety of identical outputs. The one problem is what? The similar type can be compared. An organization would like to compare going forward a similar type. The different kind cannot be compared. That's the main difficulty with this case. So this particular study was introduced in the year 1957 by Farrell. Then recent series of discussion on this topic started with the article by Charnes et al. 78, then Norman Stoker 91, and Copper et al. 2000. So these persons are the pioneer of this particular case. So data environment analysis is a linear programming based technique for measuring the performance efficiency of the organizational units, which are termed decision making units. See, suppose if you are going for comparing 10 companies, every one of the company referred to be a DMU, decision making units. This technique aims to measure how efficient a DMU uses the resource available to generate a set of outputs. So we know very well, it's the input-output process. So here for banking system we have certain inputs, then we have certain outputs, in between that we have a processing. So we want to make a comparison here. So this is the overall view where you can apply your DEA, right? Data analysis can be applied elsewhere, wherever performance is measured. One thing is what? The similar kind of things can be compared, not the alternate. For example, educational institute cannot be compared with the production industry, like that. Okay, similar type. So these are the various cases where one can think of DE applications. So here this is the banking system existing in India. That here we have the main three cases. One is the private banks, public banks, and foreign banks. Now our study, this presentation is based on nationalized banking sector. So the aim of this research work is to investigate and examine the performance of nationalized banks of India individually and to identify the best operating banks. So my aim is what? So 19 banks are there. Which bank is doing very better manner? That's the case here. So for this study, the researcher, like I told you already, the data is taken from the 2007 to 2012 and recently updated. So overall outcome says that we have used DE approach where we have two different models are available here. One is constant to scale, one is variable to scale. Using that, 21% of the banks are efficient in CRS, then 31.6% are good in VRS. When you merge these two, aggregate is going to be 21% doing better. So we have so many literatures that we have surveyed. A list is very long that I'm just posting only very few. So I told you data collection, year 2007 to 2012. So we have more variables, many variables are available. More than 24 variables are available. Then we have used a method called correlation analysis technique. That technique shows that only these 4 plus 3 variables are highly correlated for this particular study concern. So we have This is the display of the correlation efficiency between the variables. Only we selected 4 plus 3, 7 variables here. So overall case is what? It's a modeling based on DEA, 19 national banks, 7 variables. Study period is 2007-2012. We have gone for input minimization, constant return as well as variance return. We have used a fraction programming approach. Everything is stable and analyzed. So this is just I'm going to give one sample case how that we have gone for modeling it. So this is the data for the year 2007-2008. So these are the banks that listed, 19 banks, Allahabad Bank, Andhra Bank, etc. up to Bank of India, 19 banks. So these are the input value that's output value in terms of crores. Unit is crores. This is the case. So we have considered a model for Allahabad Bank. This is what? A ratio analysis, right? Output versus input. So there is the objective function. We want to maximize the output. So followed by the constraints. And we know very well, this falls in the case of fractional programming, right? That we have, the objective function we have numerator as well as the denominator. That's why it's called as a fractional programming, right? So this can be very easily converted into a linear programming model that can be solved, right? By making assumption, the denominator, right? In the objective function that we have denominator, by considering the denominator as 1, it becomes a linear programming approach. Then we have the package, so many packages available. One such package is called the Torah. So we have analyzed these results. Then these are all the information, efficiency scored based on constant return to scale. The reason is here what? The value of input and the value of output are fixed. That's one assumption here for constant return to scale. So the value 1. So we have gone for all the 5 years. And the last column communicates to you what? The average value. Now for example, in Bank of Baroda, that value is 1. Then Sun Bank of India value is 1. Then IDB is 1. Then the next one is what? Syndicate Bank is 1. Which means that among the 19 banks, 4 banks are doing extremely well. The maximum score is 1. This corresponding cases. This is based on variable return. Here what? The assumption is what? Whenever there is a 10% variation in one case and equivalent 10% variation in the other case. That's called variable return to scale. Based on this also, we have the average aggregate for all the 5 years. We have Bank of Baroda is 1, then Corporation Bank is 1, Dana Bank is 1, and IDB is 1, then PNB as well as SBI is going to be 1. So all the 6 banks are doing better here. When merging these two, all the red markings are what? Among the 11 banks, 4 banks are doing better. The remaining banks are what? Having a slight variation is there. Right? Then they have to take care of. For example, Andhra Bank is what? 0.933, which means that what? The performance is what? Up to 93.3%. That's meaning. So 1 indicates what? They are doing extremely well. So this is the overall ratings. That the last column gives you the ranking list of how that 19 banks are ranked. The red line indicates what? Number 1 banks. Then the overall outcome is what? Only 21%, namely Bank of Baroda, Corporation Bank, IDBI and Syndicate Banks are doing extremely well. So these are the references that what we have quoted here. So thank you one and all. Thank you very much the organizer of this wonderful conference for giving me an opportunity to present and discuss DE application this August gathering. Thank you, sir. Any more questions, please?
Is there any question from the house? So thank you very much, Mariappan.